Well, none of them can hide from the truth, yeah. Children have to go back to the roots, yeah. None of them can hide from the truth, yeah. Children have to go back to the roots. I'm telling you now, the truth. Telling you, yeah, the truth, the truth. You have to go back to the roots, the roots. Go to the roots, to the roots. Yeah, man, you know, this is Benjamin out of the Smiling Coast, West Africa, Gambia, representing for the one and only Abu, the big man you don't know, the Soninke warrior, the man that brings the truth, Soninke warrior, the sign of enlightenment, the Soninke warrior, the righteous and the true African. Abu, reveal the truth to them, you know, no matter how them try run from it, because none of them can hide from the truth, yeah. Yes, we have to dig back the roots, yeah. Fire!
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Afridamus Report. I'm your host, Afridamus. I want to welcome all of you to today's edition of the Afridamus Report. Ladies and gentlemen, as you know, I'm here to unite you with the truth instead of dividing you with the lies. You see, the subject matter at hand today that I'm going to speak on can be sensitive for some people. You know, I've already seen some people giving their definition of what black tax is. Different regions call it different things. But I am going to speak on, as you guys know, if you've come in contact with West Africans, especially, many Africans like to put emphasis on my culture. But have you noticed every time the cultural card comes out, the only cultural cards that they want you to live by is in your disadvantage. It is always against you. Just think about it for a minute. So, this black tax, I'm going to break it down. The reason why I use this is what is common on the internet. This is what they call it in South Africa. So, like the whoever wrote this is saying, black tax is a term used in South Africa for money that a black or other person of color professional provides to their family every month outside of their living expenses. Just listen to that definition. Listen to what the definition is, okay? So you are obligated to take your money to give to your parents. And now, why should you do this? Think about it for a minute. You guys have heard of generational wealth, right? People give different excuses about generational wealth, especially in the West. In South Africa, they blamed it on apartheid. In the United States, Black people say when they talk about generational wealth, they say they are deprived of the generational wealth because of white people. And Africa, now, Africa, Caribbean, but let's say Africa, the black factory, where there's tons of blacks. So in this system of black tax was imposed, even though they don't want to call it that, in South Africa, as, oh, you're helping your parents. So meaning you owe this tax somehow for being born. So if you're born as an African, you automatically owe a debt to the people that brought you into this world. Some people are going to say, oh, that's not how it is for me. Great. Just kick back, allow others who are living in that situation to learn how to break that cycle if they ever want to achieve their real dreams. The things I'm about to tell you here, most of you already know. You are either living it or you've lived it or you know somebody that is living like that. You see the stress, depression that they go through because of people that hold this quote unquote blessing talk over their head. Oh, I am your parent. So now, when they say that, that's the establishment of slave master and slave relationship. You just don't know it. Oh, you know it, you want to ignore it. Because you see, when you read books, okay, which many Africans don't like to read, and I happen to, even in America, found out even the blacks who are in a Western country where the white people wrote so many books, majority do not read either. There's even a saying, if you want to hide money from a black person, you know, keep it in a book. When they rob you, they would search everywhere except inside the book. They make jokes about that. But now, when you read books, you have to realize, in this life, people, what they do is they would use terms, because people use terms to pacify you. They use terms. For instance, right? Like they would say colonialism. I'll give you that as an example. Like they would say the Congo was colonized. Okay? But let's look at how the Congo was ran. The Congolese people were doing slave labor. They were held against their will, right? Just like slaves were held against their will in plantation to provide financial incentive to their captors. You see? So, but it is done in different manner. In America, they called it slavery. They were comfortable to call it that. But in the Congo, the same or worst is called colonialism. So you are being pacified for you to waste your time on trying to figure out what the words mean. Just look at the action. And slavery can be done in so many, many different forms. The reason, look, the advantage that I have over many people is I can live, I've lived, born and raised as a tribesman, live by the tribal culture. So I know how to think as a tribesman. Lived in the Western world. I mean, continue to live there for many years. I also understand how to think like a Westerner. When I say think, it's not just to say something. You have to understand psychology, which will involve you delving into the culture that you want to understand, learn their linguistics, history of words. What do words mean? Then you will understand what this culture entails. Because if not, you would always be mistaken by what is right in front of you or what other people get your mind to be busy with. The things I'm about to point out here, some people would be very upset, but some, this will save your life. When you hear generational wealth, nobody, I mean, no one can give you that generational wealth but yourself. But how can you get generational? Because when you say generational, you're talking about the future, not the past. Okay? You have individual. Take yourself, for example. Me, I'm not only a son, but I'm also a parent. So I'll take myself as an example. If I come here on YouTube and start telling you guys how, man, my son, he just he's refusing to give me allowance, half of his paycheck. You guys would look at me like, man, come on, Afridamus, grow up. Your son don't owe you anything. That's what you guys will say. And rightfully so, as you should. Because you would see me as a user trying to brainwash my child, so my child can serve me like I'm some type of God. You guys wouldn't forgive me for that. You guys will call me all kinds of names in the books. Okay, to top it off, not only if you heard me, if you hear someone say, oh man, Afridamus makes his kid give him half of his paycheck. Not, it's not like I'm twisting his arm, for example, not twisting his arm, but you found out I have been brainwashing him to do this, program him from the time he was little so he can think this way. You guys would be like, we knew you were sick. And rightfully so. And rightfully so. So I've been studying this black tax system. I'm giving you an example. Many Africans, this is the economic system Africans exist in. In South Africa, they call it black tax. In other places, they call it remittances. So where the children they are the insurance plans for their parents. So you can never get generational wealth because you are wasting your time investing in the past. The parents are the past. So me spending all my time, imagine every scenario I've painted for you here. You guys agreed that would be sick. Telling my son he owes me because I brought him in this world. So I had to, not only before I even became a parent, I knew long time ago that part of the culture is crazy. It's crazy. And even look, if I say this, people are gonna think, nah, he's making this up. I have challenged many from the time I was a youngster about this idea. They say blessing. What type of blessing? So you get up, you use your energy, you go and work and receive your check. There's nothing more blessed than that. But imagine you are 16, 17, your first job. They are like right now, you are in debt. You're supposed to be saving that money to come up, and you're supposed to be saving that. But the African parents, majority, they would remind you of owing them. And they would argue for this. Many of you, many Africans, the beef they have with their family members is based in this, where the people believe by just simply being related to them, now you owe them. Many are scared to even show. That's why you see many Africans who are smart, they are scared to show what they have because there's somebody lurking, waiting to take advantage of that. So you would think this is only in African culture. I find it in American black culture as well, where you have sports stars. There's a story where one football player, he had to put a restraining order on his mother because the mom believes the son owes her $1 million for simply just being her mother, saying she says she brought him in this world. That's what many people like to say. Oh, I brought you in this world. Giving birth. This is a process that takes place millions of times around the world every single day. People want to hold that over your head. Like you made that decision. Because I'm telling you the arguments I have pushed forward, and no one was, up till today, no one could, beat the logic that I present. No one could. Because whatever they're coming with is not going to make sense if you really think about it deep. This is why I'm using myself as an example. How messed up you would think I am for saying my son should give me half of his check just simply because I'm his father. I made the decision, you know, to bring the person, you know, in the world, engaged in the process, like many people. So now, when that happens, you bring a child in the world. Mind you, that's your decision. You made that decision. Nobody did. So the child is not obligated to you. You are obligated to that child. So if you invest in them well and be a good parent to them, maybe someday they can be of great they can be of great return to you without you even forcing it on them. But no, that's not how it works for many. Like, this is why you would see the conversation. I'm pretty sure, you can tell the people who grew up like that, under that programming system. They would even be the ones telling you, oh, your parents suffered for you. You don't have to suffer to raise a child. If you cannot afford to raise children, just don't have them. But don't you think it's sick to have children and you can't afford to raise them, and then turn around and use whatever you went through to raise those children, those kids didn't ask for, and use that as a weapon against them so they can pay you back? Because that's what it is. If you read Frederick Douglass's book, he was born in slavery. Because when people hear slavery, you think all the slaves were in plantation, picking cotton. No, some of them, had other jobs. They had other skills, carpentry, and several other things. But Frederick Douglass, he was, he was one time a carpenter, but he was also a corker, like wine corking. He did that. So that was a skill that paid well. So he had a quote unquote, in today's term, regular job. He goes to work, he gets paid the same wage like, the other white employees. But do you think Frederick Douglass was getting all of that money? No, he wasn't. The percentage, like, I would say more than half, is pretty much the payment goes to the master, and the master decides what to give him. Plain and simple. Plain and simple. That's what was happening. So if you look at it, if you think about it, to be able to enslave somebody mentally, you don't need to put chains around them. You just have to program them to think a certain way, to think the way you want them to think, to get them to do the things that you want them to do. One of the reasons why, like, if you look at people that travel abroad, Africans, um, majority that I've met, every now and again, you would meet people who, um, their parents pay for their tuition. They're going to the, 13th grade. They're doing, their parents don't require them to send them anything. But the majority, are required to. So when you talk about this generational wealth, to break that cycle, you have to break the black tax cycle. Long, long time ago, I used to work with a fella who told me, and this guy, he used to, man, have financial issues, big time financial issues. But it doesn't mean he wasn't making money. He was getting paid, he was making money, okay? But his father back in Africa put an obligation on him and two other brothers, put the financial obligation on them, that they, all of them, each of them, every month they have to send him $600 separately. And this guy, he didn't dare have the nerve to not do it. He was struggling to pay his own bills. Sometimes he would ask for loans. And I asked him, I said, I said, why are you putting yourself through this? And he expressed to me he didn't want to do it, but he's scared of the curse. He's, because many are controlled by the quote unquote curse. Because, like many people, Africans would tell you about either they are Muslim or Christian, but you would find out majority also believe in this dark spiritual thing, that they believe, can work on them for whatever reason. So this guy expressed that. And he told me a story which was crazy. He said he called his father one day and said to him, he told his father he wanted to build his own house over in Africa. He said his dad told him that no, the dude that works for the money, who is on this hamster wheel of sending him $600 every month. The father said, no, you cannot build a house for yourself until you build me a new house. You and your brothers put your hands together and build me a house. And with that house, now that he received 600, over $600, $600 from each son, three of them, he went and married another wife. Because, over there you can have, more than one wife. So mind you, he is supposedly married to this dude's mother still, but since he has the right to marry another man, another wife, that's what he did with a new compound. While the dude struggled, they kept telling him it's going to be blessing. I can tell you many, many, many stories like this that I have witnessed, people, that I have witnessed that would make your mouth drop. I mean, some of these people that you see, you have no idea what they are going through. What they are going through. And they don't dare have the nerve to speak against that, to stand against that part of quote unquote is our culture. So I'm not telling you anything that I haven't already been battle tested as. It's not just in the theory. I've been battle tested as well. I broke that cycle. I broke it. And ever since I did, I became very, very prosperous. Very prosperous. Because you have people calling you. The only time they call you is when they want something from you. You become an ATM. I've seen people here who had mental breakdown. Mental breakdown because they're going through that. One fella, you know, one time he was celebrating. He was, this guy, every time you see him, he used to look very sad. He did the hardest work. He worked in a fishing boat in Alaska. So even just watching that on TV, can you imagine how tough that job is? So this fella, that's the job he was doing. Hard job. But he had nothing. He had to share an apartment with, 5, 6 other people. And guess where his money had to go? He had to pay this black tax. So this fella, when his mom died, he was celebrating it. So somebody was telling me this story. I was like, man, this is messed up. Why is this fella celebrating the death of his own mother? His response was chilling. And how can you even go against his response? He said, I feel free. He said, do you know what it feels like for him to wake up, going to that Alaska, working like a slave and not to see the fruits of his labor? He referred to his mother as that woman. He said, that woman stole my soul. I said, but she did not force you. She's way across many, many like she's across the Atlantic and other oceans. She doesn't have a gun over your head. Why can't you just tell her no? He said, I didn't, the same thing. He didn't want the curse. So it is obvious. The point is, I'm giving you where, this is entirely in Africa, right? And then we go to the westernized part of Africa, South Africa. I was surprised to see that despite the country making economic progress, still the South Africans, there's many of them who also owe this black tax. And I started thinking, I said, look, I believe in what they say. The only thing that is guaranteed in life is death and paying taxes. Somebody's gonna get, put a stamp on you, whether you like it or not. See, when you enter America, for many, many, you enter America, Uncle Sam gives you what? A social security number. You're going to use that social security number, work. But the reason why they're giving it to you, so you can pay taxes to Uncle Sam. But for many Africans, they already got their own social security number secured in the quote unquote African culture for the black tax. And then you come here, Uncle Sam also slaps you with, a social security number, meaning setting you up to pay what you owe. So that's the cycle. So I'm just here to wake you up to this cycle. See, if you want something in this life, nothing comes easy. Believe it or not, you have to go against the grain. Many of you know these things that I'm saying here. For some Africans, they would holler and say, "Oh, this is abomination." They're just using all that fear tactic. Because if they have all that power and energy, they can just use it to not beg other people. Do you know how simple that is? But most of you don't want to come to facts with that. Every time you turn around, even wherever I go, they would say, our culture, our culture. And I'm starting to say, okay, fine. You want to talk about every culture that you're saying is to advantage you. How you can take advantage of others. But how about we add hard work to that culture? How not to make it normal to collect black tax? So you have to do that on your own. There are many, many people. I can name names. I'm talking, this is not some internet stuff. Here on the streets, I'm like the street therapist for most of these Africans. Some of them are watching how I've helped them break the cycle of this black tax. In the beginning, they thought I was talking crazy, but they knew what I was saying was true. Because you see, Africans, majority, I see this wherever I go, only seem to, if they don't get their way, they only know how to communicate in conflict. In conflict. Imagine, look at societies where this is not what is pushed, what they look like. It's completely different. Completely different. So I have two videos that I'm going to run today and break it down. This is all about this black tax. One of them is from someone in the southern part of Africa, Namibia. So I'm speaking on what is coming directly because there's no doubt in your mind, I know about what I'm talking about here since I'm African, grew up there. So obviously, I have socialized in that system. So I know, okay? So this video, I'll bring you because if I talk about Southern Africa, someone might say, you haven't even been there. But we have somebody who's a Southern African will use her video. And then I'll use another video of an NFL player. For those of you who are not in America, that's American football. We call it football here. So he would give us an example. He would talk about how this is used here in America. So you can see those examples. So, fair use, I'm about to play this video. We'll start with that.
Us for money on the 25th, on the 20th, or the 30th when you know I got paid. Oh no, no, the bridesmaids dresses are so expensive. It's like a wedding is like a business. People, stop asking. People, stop asking us for money on the 25th, on the 20th, or the 30th when you know I got paid. Oh no, no, the bridesmaids dresses.
See, this is the question I used to always ask. I'm like, look, what were you doing with your life this whole time before I was born? Now I'm here. Like, what were you doing? You had your opportunity, okay? If you if you're no longer pursuing your dream, that's on you. But I'm not gonna let you pull me down. You have to put your foot down like that. So think about it, people taking the time to find out the day you're getting paid. All that energy. This is why you see people saying, oh, the remittances is part of the, you know, the GDP. Really? But then you see others turn around and say, oh, that money is not benefiting us. Okay, if I give you money, you beg for it, but now the person who's not giving it to you says it's not benefiting them. So how about you do what myself and others did? That would definitely help Africa move forward. Imagine if if the majority, because you would never ever be able to get everyone on the same team. But how about we have people who, like promote hard work, than receiving free, and at the same time turn around to try to shame the people who are against that. Look, this conditioning is so bad. What I'm about to tell you here, pay attention, right? To even the way some people speak on YouTube, some of the Africans, you can tell they've received that training, especially when they're talking about that kumbaya stuff. We are all one. We are all this. You should go do this in Africa. Sure. Yeah. You and I both watched the video. I played the video. I'm the one playing the video. We're watching it. We're watching people in Africa. In fact, I don't need to watch the video to know what I'm about to tell you. So people are living on, dollar 50 to $2 a day. I'm seeing that. That's the majority. Okay. So now you're telling me, it's a great economic plan for me to abandon, let's say even making, if it's, I can spend $100, or you're living on $100 a day, for example, and you're able to, and someone says, hey, you know what would be smart? Um, give up your $100 a day and go, live on, $50 a day. You would think they're insane. But yet you have to realize, you have to ask yourself, why is this person talking this way? Why is this person talking this way? Well, many people just jump to condemning people. The moment they don't like what they are saying, they don't want to find out why this person is saying this. Where is this thinking coming from? Where is this conditioning coming from? It's like a beggar mentality. They normalized it. So this is why when I sometimes say Africans get upset talking about, oh, they only present Africa as the beggars on TV. And that's because people there beg. Maybe if your country don't, cool. But from what I'm reading, not only if the government is begging, what do you think the people are doing? So the economic plan that they push forward is the young have to take care of the old. And in South Africa, they've made it an official thing. An official thing. But this woman is about to tell us the same exact thing that happens even in West Africa. So it is the culture. And that culture is not from the Westerners. Let's just be real.
Are so expensive. It's like a wedding is like a business venture now. No. Stop it. What's up, beautiful people? It is your girl Tua, and welcome back to another money talk. In today's video, we're gonna be talking about BlackTax and why I think BlackTax is disgusting. Let me tell you now, BlackTax is so disgusting. It makes my bank account want to puke every single time.
Absolutely right. People, imagine you're driving, in your hoopty. In your hoopty, hey, you know how like in the winter sometimes, even people that live in cold weathers. So it gets so cold. I mean, it won't snow, but it gets so cold that the ground freezes. The black ice. So imagine sometimes that would happen in the winter. Sometimes, and you have to work night shift, a physical job, and you gotta be outside in that. Now you jumped in your hoopty and someone calls you that you don't owe this person anything. Now they are asking you for money and chastising you. You're driving on the road on the black ice, the place is cold, in your hoopty, people, in your hoopty. I don't know how you won't feel disgusted by that. This is what most Africans go through. They just don't have what it takes to break it. But I'm here to tell you something that would benefit you. It might sound crazy to you today, but the things I'm telling you and what this woman is going to lay out, it will change your life for the better. Cut the dead weight off. If you want that generational wealth you talk about, you have to cut the dead weight off. Plain and simple.
Bank account literally goes something like literally, and I'm just gonna tell you from the onset that I hate BlackTax, and this is your best opportunity to criticize me, call me an ingrate, call me selfish, but you know what? And I say this with a lot of humility, it's still not going to change the fact that I think BlackTax is disgusting. And the reason why I think BlackTax is so disgusting and why I hate it is because I feel that it has derailed my financial success. Now, I'm not entirely going to blame BlackTax for that because my own stupidity, yes, stupidity, and inability to manage money has also played a major role.
So I understand what she feels like. It is her own stupidity. For most of you that are watching or coming to watch, you'll be familiar with this, or you'll be like, man, this guy is talking crazy. You won't wake up to what she is saying or what I'm saying until you get burned. Many wait till they get burned and they're like, oh man, I can't believe they did this to me. No, you were there the whole time. You knew what was going on. So I understand exactly what she means by holding herself accountable, because that's the first step to take. If you want to see the light, you have to hold yourself accountable. If you feel like, hey, this was normal, but you don't like it, you want to find a way to break the cycle, then this program is for you. It's going to help you. Believe it.
If you've never heard of BlackTax, you're probably wondering what the hell is BlackTax. But listen, your gal, she got you. I got you. I'm going to tell you what BlackTax is. According to the smart people, BlackTax is a term used to describe black people who share their income with their immediate and extended family members. But I'm going to simplify this for the both of us because I don't like complicated things, okay? This is how BlackTax works. If you are the only flavored peanut in this bag of peanuts, it becomes your responsibility to make sure that each and every peanut in this bag smells and tastes like you. That's BlackTax. Now, do you see why I hate BlackTax? Because I feel it is a very unfair and unrealistic expectation. Because some people don't even want your flavor. They don't even want to smell like you. You keep on giving them your flavor, you keep giving them your smell, but they just keep on taking, they absorb it, and then that's it. They don't start smelling like you. They just keep on taking, and then you know what happens at the end of the day? You end up flavorless because you have depleted your flavor. You've given it to people who don't want to smell and taste like.
In a nutshell, what she is saying is, so it's pretty much, okay, you're working. So let's say you have a hole in your pocket. Literally, that's what it is. So every single time you put the money in your pocket, it just falls through that hole. That hole is there, but you keep wearing that same pants, but then turning around, complaining about not having anything or ever making it. Have you noticed how people that like to promote this type of culture, the black tax thing, they somehow, never have anyone, receiving from them? Have you noticed? They're the ones giving the orders. Some of you that are watching this, your mom have probably already asked you, or your auntie or other people. If this is the first time, if you haven't started before watching this video, do not start what you can't finish. Listen to me. Because you see, most of them would start out nice. This is how it starts. It's like shaking hand with the devil. If you do it one time, guess what? You give an inch, they take a mile. That's how it goes for some. So when you try to cut that off, they call a meeting against you. It's called the shaming tactic meeting. And you're like, wait a minute. Why are these people putting so much energy and so much thought on how to shame you for not doing the things that they should do for themselves? I understand. Like, there is people like the man that I told you. His father, maybe that's his dream, to have a new compound, new wife, new car, but he couldn't do it for himself. So his kid had to make that happen for him. So it's not just trying to help the person with their daily living. They are living off of you. You are the economic plan. So the cycle goes on. By the time you realize it, you also have kids. You also want to impose that on other people. The reason why I'm even talking about this, I'm seeing people who are like same age as me, who didn't used to believe in this. They hated it, but now they promote it, and I'm confused. I think they're going to brainwash their kids to be like them because they themselves cannot break the cycle. Here we go.
You, and then at the end of the day, you are just 2 or 10 old peanuts sitting there without flavor, without taste. Now, what kind of life be that, eh? What kind of life be that? Tell me.
What kind of life be that?
No, man. BlackTax, no, we hate you. Well, I'm going to speak for myself. I hate
FBA Nigel, don't worry. The black part is going to come. Just be patient. He said, Afridamus, why you keep crowbarring us into African dysfunction? Don't worry. I'm about to show you.
BlackTax. Before I get into the reasons as to why I hate BlackTax, I just feel that I need to put a disclaimer out there because some people might just misconstrue what I'm about to say, but I'm not in control of that. I can't control what people think or don't think, but I'm still going to put a disclaimer.
I totally agree with her. See, when people feel offended, they're the ones interpreting things that way. Like I would see some people in their comments, in the comment section, they get so upset. You can tell just by reading, and they start attacking me. I'm like, I don't know you. You don't know me. Like I'm just some guy on the internet talking about different topics. If you don't like what I say, great. I'm not I'm not your mama, I'm not your daddy. I'm not here saying you got to do this. You either agree with it or not. But I'm a firm believer that you know you cannot you cannot beat down reality. You can try, but you'll continue to suffer. That's just what it is. So I know many they have the answer, but they're like, man, why are you saying it? Why you gotta say it? You don't need to say it out loud.
Out there that I love my parents, I love my family members, and I do not have a problem helping financially if and when I can. In fact, I've made peace with the fact that I'm my parents' retirement policy. I am their retirement plan, and maybe you are also your parents' retirement policy.
Hey, when you accept it, like I said, the road to healing, first recognize the problem, acceptance, then the healing begins. So she's like, hey, I'm the retirement plan. At a point comes in your life, you're like, wait a minute. Like you can't even say hello. The relationship they built between you and them, the people, is the begging relationship. You're like, wow. So you have people literally like they can't go to their mailbox because they don't like the mails they are receiving. But you think many Africans can hide? They can hide from the mailman, but the people calling them, they are worse than the bill collectors. So right then and there, you don't want to set yourself up for that type of relationship. It's toxic. Believe you me. And I know you know what I'm talking about, and you know what she's talking about. You can be in denial, but facts are facts.
But you know what? Like I told you, I got you, so I'm preparing you for life. And in case you are, because our parents have invested so much in us, you need to continue begging that coin because our parents are expecting a return on investment. Okay, so let's dive into the reasons as to why I hate BlackTax. Reason number one, we have to do everything in secret or in silence. Now, I'm a big believer of moving in silence, but that's not what we're talking about here. What we're talking about here is how you cannot be seen on the inside of a restaurant smelling a particular way or driving a particular car because you've told an uncle in your family that you don't have money.
So she's speaking of her experience in Southern Africa. I believe Namibia or one of those countries. So imagine that you work for your money, but you're scared for people to see you enjoying that the fruits of your labor. Just imagine that you gotta hide from people to go to what is it called? Just to get a simple meal. You can't.
But what uncle doesn't understand is, yes, I've told you I don't have money, but that doesn't mean I don't have money for me. I just don't have money for you. And no, it's not being selfish at all because I work really hard for this money. I wake up at 5 a.m. or 6 a.m. to go to a place and work with people that I might not even like just so that I can get this money. So I should be allowed to spoil myself. And in fact, the name on the payslip is not Twa featuring Uncle or Twa and Co. It's Twa only.
Look, every adult should be willing to give at least 8 hours a day at least 8 hours, for your survival or less. You should be willing to do that. Unless, like health issues, mental health issues, you get the point. But if you're an able adult, that should be a thing. Oh, your own business. Because some are going to say, what about in Africa? If you don't have the job, if somebody does, don't always expect other people to create it. If you don't have it, you create it. Plain and simple. That's what the people you are asking money from are doing. That's what they are doing. So you have to be willing to say these things. Don't set yourself up for failure. Seriously.
So I'm allowed to spoil myself. It's the same with posting this video right here. I was very apprehensive about posting this video because I was like, oh my God, people are going to think I have money. But I was like, I don't care. I work really hard for this money. Reason number 2, it keeps us stuck in the generational poverty cycle. Now, my smile is about to evaporate because I cannot for the life of me talk about this matter or this specific reason with a smile on my face. In fact, it really it riles me up and it makes me so emotional. I'm going to be the devil's advocate and say the following. Not everyone in the Black community is going to make it out of the generational poverty cycle. And the major contributor to this is BlackTax. Now, there are a host and a plethora of reasons as to why Black people don't get ahead financially, but we're not going to get into that. We're just going to focus particularly on BlackTax. Look.
That's right. So sometimes I see when I open the line, people like to deviate from the topic, but you always got to stay on topic. I guarantee you, even if I open the lines here, someone is going to come, instead of talking about BlackTax, they are probably going to talk about Black people in space, the alien Blacks. So let's not do that. Let's stick with the topic. I like how she's keeping people's attention on the BlackTax, because it saves you time. You don't need to come and say, well, what about this? Let's talk about this one first. Then we can move on to another obstacle.
It is pretty simple why BlackTax keeps us stuck in the generational poverty cycle. Or your money comes in, or your money goes out. So when exactly do you save, invest, and build generational wealth? When do you do that? You cannot, because there's no money to do that. The well is dry. Dar es ni kapunasha. The thing that hurts me the most about the generational poverty cycle, and
you can't get ahead if all the money you work for, you can't save any from it. To make money, you need money. So the things that would make somebody get ahead, let's say you're working, you save your money, you invest it in other businesses and stuff like that, that would help you get ahead. But if you don't have it, you would always be in the deficit. And imagine you being in the deficit. It's not because of you, but because you're paying the BlackTax. And she's right. It creates generational poverty than generational wealth. This is why you hear some of these people saying, oh, the remittances, they don't help. Then tell the Africans to stop begging for it then. You think the people that are sending it, majority of them want to? They will be more than happy not to. But they say these things as if they are doing you a favor by you giving them money. It is crazy. I'm sure some of you have dealt with something like that, where you're giving the person money, but they're treating you like, in fact, they are doing you a favor by allowing you to give them money. So that's the psychology. They play a game on you to completely subdue you. If if it didn't happen to you, when you see it or someone tries to pull it on you, you would remember where you heard it from.
BlackTax is the fact that I hate BlackTax, right? I know how it feels. I know the burden. I know the pressure. But unfortunately, because I might not be able to break the generational poverty cycle because I don't have enough money to invest, save, and build generational wealth, I'm going to pass this on to my kids. And then what happens? I'm going to become my child's responsibility. My child is going to bear the same hatred and resentment. And then it's just a never ending cycle. Feel like going off topic a little bit, and I'm gonna do that because listen, this is our channel, right? You and I, we can do what we want up in this BH. All right, I want to talk about WhatsApp groups that people create for.
Did you guys hear this? The WhatsApp groups. Have you ever had somebody just, you're sitting there and now all of a sudden you're part of some African group because the person has your number. Now you're part of a WhatsApp group. Now you're receiving messages like someone died, they have to pay for funeral, or someone's wedding. I'm like, I don't even know these people. Like, oh, you never know what's gonna happen. Saying you never know what's gonna happen. Like, really? I'm not putting my issues to you. Why are you bringing other people's issue to me? Hold on, let me see. Man, this chat room is wiling out. Oh, Nagmizi, come on. He said, little Nas X, he said, Soninke Booty Warrior. Oh, hell. Nagmizi, come on. Come on, man. Little Nas X is not a Soninke. I highly doubt that. Okay, let's let this woman tell us. I can't believe Nagmizi is trolling me in my own chat today.
The events and for their weddings. Now, I'm not talking about unexpected events, so please do not misconstrue what I'm about to say. The problem is, I find that some people, you want to get married, but you only have 20% of your budget. So where exactly do you think the 80% is going to come from? Do you see the BlackTax here? Do you see? This is BlackTax. This is BlackTax and it's daylight robbery. You want to have a lavish wedding, Mara, you only have 20%. Can you at least want to have a lavish wedding, but have 80% and then the 20% comes from us?
And like, it's funny. Now the the reason why not to even subscribe to this BlackTax thing. Okay, generally, like your parents, they would be the one trying to, hold that over your head. But it's not only your direct parents. For some, even aunties, uncles, and other people. But now, you see, with the with media, social media, it's exposed Africans because now when you check on Instagram, you see them constantly there. They are doing some type of wedding, naming ceremony. Like, these people are constantly having some type of fun that requires someone else to pay for it. And I thought about it. I was like, man, that's a pretty good life. Imagine you are able to convince somebody to sponsor your lifelong dreams of you just doing weddings, naming ceremonies, parties. Like, this is the ambition for many, but they want you to pay for it. So you're investing in a black hole. There is no return. So this is why they tell you it's a blessing, when in reality the blessing is you gave your time and energy. You can never get your time back. You do realize that, right? So make sure this time that you are spending and investing benefits you first. Because how can you give people what you don't have? So you have to get yourself out of the hole first before talking about you got to pull somebody else in the hole. You're both in the hole. You see? So that's what brings the generational cycle. Because for many, by the time they recover from participating in this, they have to pass this on to their children. They have to shame them. I was reading on the internet the other day. Nigerian parents sue their son, their son, because quote unquote he refused to take care of them. I was like, what? I've heard of, I know about child support, where they put child support on you. You guys know the tax that when you decide to make a baby and you're not with the baby's mother, and they take you to the court system. So the court system imposes, a monthly fee on you to pay. It don't matter whether you see the kid or not, you still gotta pay. Yes, that obligation, they'll give you a sheet called the obligation sheet. Some of you have seen it. But again, other people are going to put this obligation on you, whether you see the sheet or not. Now they have to. You have to give them the consent to do this to you.
I'm saying it now. If I'm ever to get married, I'm gonna try and have 100% of my budget, and whatever other people give me is going to be a bonus.
Let me correct it. Audrey said it was a Kenyan. Now, you know what, Audrey, I'll have to reconfirm this. I saw Nigerian, but I'll have to reconfirm it. But either way, the person is African. Let's just put it that way. You having the nerve to sue your grown child. George, I brought them in front of you here. What is your complaint, sir? You see, George, me and my wife, we decided to get married many, many moons ago. And we gave birth to this man here. We feed this man. We clothe him. We put a roof over his head. So now we want him to return, the investment. The judge is like, you are telling me things that you were supposed to do? That's what people are supposed to do. If you make the decision to make a baby, you are supposed to take care of that child without expecting anything in return. This is why when you pay child support, you cannot claim it in taxes. Even Uncle Sam will not let you benefit tax-wise from paying child support. Go read up on it. You will see exactly what I'm telling you here. So let's allow her to tell us.
I'm not gonna sit around like, if that 2,000 doesn't come in, oh my God, people are not gonna drink anything. Oh, if that 3,000 from who doesn't come through,
GK, let them know, man, to stop hating and hit that like button. You're absolutely right.
won't have shoes. Whatever I get is gonna be a bonus. Nah. People, let's stop this thing of wanting to have lavish things on other people's accounts. Other people also have their kids. They also have their financial goals. Yes, they can help where they can, because I know the Black community, we are a community. We love each other. We help each other because, of everything that we've gone through. Yes, I get that. I might even get married at the magistrate because you don't spend a lot of money. We've got rich people out here getting.
Look, another scam they like to pull on you is, in fact, I'm speaking from experience here. This one fella calls me many, many years ago. He's like, hey man, I got a baby, man. I'm gonna name the baby after you. And I told him straight. Because you see, when you know something, so most of you, the issues with you is you know where things are gonna go, but because quote unquote you don't want to hurt the person's feelings, or you don't want to appear a certain type of way, but in reality you do not want to be a part of this shenanigans. You know why this individual is telling you they want to name their baby after you. They are setting you up. Okay? So I told him, I said, that's a nice gesture. I said, but at this time, I would prefer you not do it. I said, I don't want you to name your baby after me. And he tried to laugh it off. He's like, but why? I said, you know why? He said, what do you mean? I said, because I don't want to be the ATM. I said, because here's the thing, you know, quote unquote, the culture. I know the culture. Now, if you name this baby after me, now that's going to become a burden on me. You know, you're going to call me, oh, your namesake needs this and that and that. That's not my child. I don't owe your child anything. So that's why I didn't open myself up to that. You see, many of you want to say this, but you're like, oh no, if I say it, I'm gonna hurt the person's feelings. But would you rather speak the truth? You know, this person, however they interpret it, they're the ones saying their feelings are hurt. Would you rather do that now than create this issue for yourself? That's my question. So there are several ways that they're gonna get you. The baby names, naming ceremonies, weddings. Most are not even gonna like what I'm saying here, but it is the truth. Okay, it is the truth. Trust me, people. It doesn't mean I'm against, weddings and naming ceremonies. But if it's not my wedding, if it's not my baby. In fact, one guy, he wanted me to pay for his wedding, and I was like, look, whatever I said, you saw this woman, right? He said, yeah. And you like her? He said, sure. Now you want her to be your wife? He said, yeah. I said, now, I don't know this woman. I have never met this woman. I have no interest in this woman. It won't serve me one way for me to, invest one dime into this woman. So tell me, tell me why I should do this for you. I said, because this is going to cause problem. You can, even your own wedding, you can't afford it. You are asking me. I said, let me ask you this. I said, when I visit Gambia, would you be open to, letting your wife spend few nights with me? He's like, oh, that's an abomination. I said, exactly. Exactly. I said, that's what you just asked me, to buy you a wife. So you see, sometimes you have to challenge the people with, with logic. You have to challenge them with logic. If you can't afford to marry a wife, why ask another guy to help you marry a wife? That means you are not even qualified to take care of that wife. Do you understand that? Why is it so hard for some of you to tell people this truth? The guy is useless. The guy will not break a grape to save his own life. He's not qualified to have a wife. But you guys encourage this type of behavior. And in the meantime, they take you down. They take you down with them. So I'm helping you how to beat this cycle. Let's go.
Married at the magistrate. Mara, you that have zero, you are here demanding a lavish wedding from us. And then they make the bridesmaid dresses so expensive. 30,000, 4,000. It's like the whole wedding thing is just a business venture now. Like, hey, we need to make profit. It's not even profit because you didn't put money in. Like, hi, yeah, not or 4,000. Even though the dress is 200, we're just going to make it 4,000. So the rest of the money we're going to put in a savings account or use it as a down payment for our house after we got married. No, people, I feel we need to do better. So that we need to do better. All right, I'm done venting. So let's go back to the generation poverty cycle. That man.
Like Mizi wrote, he said, they like sack of USA rice and powdered milk. It's funny that Nakmizi, you said this. In fact, you guys know, people send me informations on what is happening. So it's funny that Nakmizi would even say this, because in the Gambia, someone gave me the 411 on what is happening, what the Nigerians are doing over there. Because they wrote to me, they said, you're doing good waking many of us to what is happening outside. But it's not only the Nigerians, the Ivorians and the Senegalese, they are in this game too. So they have a rice in the Gambia, they call it American rice. I guess it is the good quality rice. So now that rice, I mean, I heard rice is expensive over there because the people don't want to grow their own rice, right? So now the American rice, they're not bringing it because when you bring it, it's more expensive. So what these, the Nigerian hustlers, the Senegalese and others, because the Gambians are just, they think they are chilling. So these people, they go from house to house. They are buying the empty bags of that rice where it says American rice, and then buying cheaper rice and refilling it and selling it at the American price. So it's funny you said this. I know you were probably trolling me, but I just received this information. So you're onto something here. Well, let's continue with the black tax.
And above knows that you and I are going to be the ones to break the generational poverty cycle or curse in our family. So receive it, child. Receive it, because you and I, we can do better, and we will do better. All right, before we move on to point number 3, I have a quick ask. If you're new to this channel, I have to ask you to do something for me. Now, this is very uncomfortable for me. It's like asking for sex on the first date, but you know what? We're not bothered over here, so I'm going to ask the question. If you are enjoying this video, then please consider subscribing to my channel so that you and I can have a lot of fun up in here. All right, let's move. Reason number 3, recipients become very greedy and entitled over time. I think the reason why
Some of you, if you pay attention, you know exactly what they are saying. So you have somebody, you're like, okay, you think you're just doing it for one time. You think you're just being nice, right? But now, guess what? You've become their actual ATM. So if they ask you once or twice and you do it, they become entitled. Now they feel the need to even yell at you, to be mad at you if you don't do what they want you to do.
they become greedy and entitled is because we have enabled them and we have allowed them to exploit us financially to a point where it builds an entitlement and an expectation. People get really enraged. They get angry, like pissed off when they ask you for money and you say no. And it normally always starts off with a sweet SMS. Hi, lovey. Hi, darling. Help me with $200. And the minute you reply and say, I'm sorry, I don't have money, they so much shoot you a curt reply. Mwah, sharp. And you're just like, yo.
Have you ever dealt with that? Some of this, like, they ask you for money and you say you don't have it. They're like, man, you're all the way in America. You don't have the money. No, I just don't have money for you. So now you want to shame me you're shaming me for saying I don't have the money for you. So how do you feel about yourself? Because you're the one begging me. But they don't have the shame because guess what? The culture accepts it. You see? The culture accepts it.
Where's that coming from? Oh, my favorite one, they just don't reply. And I'm like, oh, thank you, Jesus. I love that. Don't just go away in silence. Let's not do this curt stuff and be all abrupt and stuff. But I am gonna say, however, I'm gonna vent again on this point. People, stop asking us for money on the 25th, on the 20th, or the 30th when you know I got paid. That's the day you want to ask me for money. If you're gonna ask me for money, fra for me, ask me for money at the beginning of the month. Now you're asking me on the day I got paid. Do you think I don't live on a budget? Some of us live on a budget, and there is no way I can accommodate you, and now you end up getting angry because you asked me money on my payday. It doesn't work like that, people. Let's do better, okay? Reason number
Here's why I have never ever encouraged that. Because you guys know to go off on quote unquote elders in the African society. You guys know how they look upon that. So I just said it in a way, like, because I cannot imagine if anyone called me and asked me if I got paid today, I think I would cuss you out. Yeah. Because the nerve of you calling me, asking me about something that has nothing to do with you. You're better off just asking me what you want, and get it over with than to act like you are a bill collector, calling me to collect the bill. Have you ever had like, you know, um, a situation where you had to hide from the bill collectors and they eventually caught up with you? One time I had these neighbors, they're from Ethiopia. They were hiding from the bill collectors. And this girl had the nerve to give the bill collector my number. And the person that called me, I can tell from her voice that she's a black woman. And this woman, that was the days that you don't need to be professional. This woman was yelling at me, telling me how I'm such a loser for not paying my bill. I was like, ma'am, that's not even my name. That's my neighbor. But long story short, I told her and she played dumb like, oh, I must have given your number by accident. But the point is, they are worse than the bill collectors if you ever got one of those calls. Let's go.
It gears all conversations towards money. For me personally, it got to a point where there was no joy having conversations with particular family members. The all conversations start off so nicely. We're talking about the weather or something. Let me use an example. So let's say we're talking about COVID, and I'm like, yo, but this COVID thing, this COVID thing is killing people. It's no joke anymore. It was never a joke, but yo, it's getting really rough out here. And this person just chimes in, oh, I'm so thirsty. I'll just
FBA Nigel said, how y'all Africans don't realize your entire countries are on food stamps. FBA, you got jokes. But hey, if you think about it, like, I mean, BlackTax is food stamps, It's just different. The government is not the one giving it. You just convince your kid to live by the program, and you should be good. That's why some are gonna hate me for talking about this. You see, the topics I talk about here, for example, I have always look at, for instance, people would say, oh, the white people don't talk about, our issues or what we're going through. Who can talk about your own issues better than you? So people look at, these talk shows, these programs as something that is supposed to be about conflict. But no, it's an actual media house. We discuss what is going on. Because trust me, I've heard many, many disgruntled people. I know some are going to come here and pretend and say they have no issues with it. Great. You're good. Then we are not talking about you, but we're talking about the majority. I'm opening their eye to how to make generational wealth. Because guess what? It is in your hand. Just protect what you got. Invest in the future, not in the past. If the past squandered, you're good to move on and help the future. Because really, what are you getting? You're not getting anything in return. And you are also going to pass that on to someone else. And the cycle goes on. When the cycle needs to be broken. That's what I notice. People talk about everything on YouTube, especially African people. They talk about everything in a surface level. It's like there isn't a deep dive, you know, peeling the onion layers, the onion layer by layer. You might not like it, but it's not about like or not. The question is it true? That's what it is. If you don't believe it's not true, that's good as well. But we are all not going to understand things at the same time. That I do believe in.
wish someone could give me like $100 to buy cool drink. And you're just like, but where's the correlation between You being thirsty and wanting to buy cool drink and people dying of COVID. Where? Where is the correlation? Pangwe, if you're talking about buying tea, I would still understand Pangwe to make sense because people, we must have to drink hot beverages and stuff because of COVID. But cool drink, really? No. Stop it.
Look, I have witnessed conversation. Grown man, grown African, hardworking guy. The guy have, I believe, 3.5 jobs. I hope I'm not exaggerating it. The point is, the guy is constantly working. You guys remember back in the days how, you remember the in Living Colors, they used to do that skit about the Jamaican. I work at the flower shop. He works at several flower shops. He drives a cab. He makes sandwiches. He's got like 29 jobs like that, right? This guy has more jobs than Jamaicans. That's my whole point. But he is broke. I witnessed a conversation on the phone. And he had acquired a new car. The guy was happy, and he tells his mother on the phone about how he bought this new car. His mother was yelling at him like a child and told him he's wasting his money, So you would think that, guess what that was followed by? So the guy that works for the money, right? It's a waste of money for him to buy himself a vehicle. That's the waste of money. But the mom turns around and said, this man should seek the blessings of her by sending her the money instead. Think about that for a minute. Think about how illogical that sounds. So he just was quiet. And I was like, what's going on? So he told me the story. I was like, why don't you just tell her that doesn't make sense? He's like, oh no, that would be disrespectful. I was like, she disrespected you by what she said to you. That doesn't make sense. So she shouldn't be yelling at you for spending your money on yourself. You're a grown man. But they get, oh, that's my mom. That's disrespectful. No, your mom disrespected you, but he didn't get it.
Oh, stop it, people. Stop it. Oh my God, I'm so tickled by this. I'm really, I'm tickled. It's so funny. And there's the classic one. And this one happened to me mid-conversation. It was like a punch in the face. I was told, yeah, other parents are buying nice things. No, other kids are buying nice things for their parents. But my kids, I don't even know when they're going to do that for me.
Can you imagine? Though she's right. There's parents that say that. And many of their children, they say this too. They probably remember even saying, oh, those other kids have this and that. In fact, they probably slapped you for even mentioning it or ignoring you. But now they try to reverse the role. She's absolutely correct.
I was just there like, but I do what I can with what I have. And that should actually be enough. I kid you not, this was very painful for me. It was very painful. And if you have two brain cells, you already know. If someone is throwing these subliminal messages and remarks, you already know that you need to put money on the table. It's clear, put the kapandi there. That's what they want. They just don't have the audacity to ask you directly. Opua. Reason number 5. The reason you start saying no, you are evil. You are the devil's son. You belong to the devil. Yes.
Yeah. So, do you guys see the same thing? Like, they have this card, people. The culture card is equivalent to the race card. White people are scared. Most white people are scared for black people to use the race card on them, to call them the R word, racist. So the same way the R word is to most white people in America, the word devil coming from them. is what scares most Africans. Why are they so scared? Is it because secretly the devil lives within them? Hey, you can call me the devil, I don't care. I mean, like you're asking me for something and I don't have it. I'm the devil. Maybe you should save yourself. You should save yourself by hurting your own feelings and doing these things for yourself instead of trying to shame other people. It's crazy, but this is reality.
Yes, you should never say no. But what I've learned over the years, no is a complete answer, darling. No is a complete answer. No additives are required whatsoever.
Pfizer said, it's your responsibility to take care of your parents if they need before your children or wife. Pfizer, where are you getting that from? From your name, I'm guessing you're going to say the Quran. But even in the Quran, that's not what's there. I'm curious to hear where you got this from.
This one, this one.
And I'm not suggesting that you don't take care of your parents. But for them to push things on you that's not going to help you build wealth for yourself, help free yourself financially, you shouldn't compromise that. You should be your own free person. And, their job is to get you, to where you need to be, take care of you until you get to a level to be able to take care of yourself. Now their obligation is done. Now, from that point on, you have to do for you. You see? That makes sense to me. And that's what makes sense to a whole lot of people. It's like students that take student loans in America. By the time they finish, they are in debt up the yin yang. So you're in debt before you even ever make money. And I'm going to play a video how it works in the Black American system, especially with NFL, with some of the people. You'll see.
It really tickles me because it reminds me of a quote that says you can do 99 things for a person, but all they remember is the one thing that you didn't do. I've been chastised, I've been criticized for being stingy, for whatnot. I don't care. Really, I do not care, because during that time, right, and it's now going to take me back to the time when I was getting out of debt. My only focus now was just on getting out of debt. I didn't care about what was happening around me. I was laser focused on getting out of debt. So when you come here with your funny request, no, give me 200 for airtime, or give me $10 for what I don't have. And it's true, I didn't have, because my focus was on getting out of debt. If you've watched my debt video, you will know that I struggle with debt. I'm going to put it somewhere here if you want to watch it. I cringe when I watch that video because, oh my God, I was just starting out on YouTube, so it makes me very uncomfortable, but you can watch it. I'm not bothered.
So she did a good job breaking it down. And as you can see, she's from a Southern African country, I believe Namibia. And another person that wrote, because online they make it seem like because of apartheid, that's why the black tax is in place. But obviously, you've heard, she explained it. There's no white person in the equation. So with the Africans that travel to or over wherever they're at, it's the same thing. Let's see, Kwesi said black tax for parents is cool, but black tax for friends and their family members is a no, unless they deserve it. Hey, I'll open the line for people to, like I said, to call in. You can explain, because if you say cool, many people would disagree with you. But this next story I'm about to show you is from News One from back in the days with Roland Martin. He no longer has that. He's on YouTube now. So he's going to feature a former NFL player who's going to give us the insight on how the black tax is played, even here in America. Because some Africans they were gonna think, oh no, the black people in America, Americans, then they're not gonna do that, but it does happen there quite often, just like with the Africans. Here we go.
All right, folks, the NFL draft is tonight, which means dozens of young men, they're going to become instant millionaires. But you know what? Here's the deal, though. Tonight, I got some mic issues here, apparently. Tonight, though, you know what's really going to happen? They're going to start off in debt tonight. When you see them walk across that stage, they're going to be dripping in diamonds. They're going to be already driving Range Rovers and Benzes, and they haven't even signed a contract yet. My next guest, of course, former NFL player. His book is called New Money, Staying Rich, Philip Buchanan. He knows.
So the concept is the same. You know, you guys have heard of old money, right? How old money stretches. Old money was once new money, but it can only be old if you're able to hold on to it and keep stretching it, multiplying it. That's the only way it will be. But if not, if you haven't created that, you know, through your, you know, that cycle, you know, everyone that comes behind you, they would have to keep making new money. So that's what he's about to explain here. So you go into the NFL, you know, a professional, you know, football player, they make a lot of money. So you're a millionaire. You know, for most of these guys, they are millionaires before they even sign the contract, as you heard. But there's tons of debt. One of the debts he's about to reveal has everything to do with the topic at hand. This is the part that the media don't tell you. Oh, if they tell you, they glorify it. See, in America, it is hidden because the media, you know, the media jumps in to promote the culture, just like in South Africa, it is, you know, they do it in a nicer way. Even in Africa, to be honest, they promote it that way. So here we go.
Exactly what I'm talking about when it comes to this whole issue, Philip. That's the deal, bro. Seriously, people don't realize. Guys haven't signed a contract yet. Some of them have already got advances, buying houses, dripping in diamonds, buying the cars. They may walk across that stage and already be $250,000 or $500,000 in debt, ain't signed one contract.
That's so normal because I was probably $1 million in debt before I even my name was actually even called.
Wow. Because again, you knew you.
Look, there's many, they are not a million in debt, but some before they even step foot, mind you, for some people like coming to America from other countries, it's like winning, it's like going to the NFL. Okay? You know, you made it, you went, you got your visa, that's the draft. You know, you did your jumps, you know. I mean, like I killed that 4x4 like that. Okay? So mentally, it's like the equivalent of being in the NFL. Some are gonna deny it, but if you've never been there, how would you know? Right? So you've got people, some imagine, before they even step foot, they are already in debt. So now they are held on to those debts back there. They're like, oh, we paid for you to go to America. Okay? So these people with the NFL, people are enticing them with houses, jewelry, and then the black tax. We haven't even got there yet. We haven't even got there yet. But that's coming. Like he said, he was $1 million in debt before even getting the money. Spend the money before you receive it. So this is how people go broke.
We're going to get drafted high,
Yep.
So you knew what projected I was going when it comes to making the money, and cats were already sitting here saying, hey, bruh, here it is. And all of a sudden, y'all get it because I get it all the time too. Hey, man, let me make all your suits. So all of a sudden, you was like, fine, make me 15 custom-made suits. You dropping $3,000 on the suit.
Like it wasn't nothing. It's so strange. It's because when you get new money, which is my book is called New Money, Staying Rich, you start doing strange things. And when my name was flashed across the bottom of the screen, like when I first got drafted, that's when new money was born. and it was so much chaos and everything started boiling around that time.
You
But
said chaos. The average person does not understand the hell you go through. There was a Dallas Cowboys player a couple of years ago who had to file a restraining order against his parents.
Kevin T said he could have fed an African city. Yeah, with that kind of money. Yeah, I mean, he'll be able to. That's a lot.
Because he has so many family members who were beating him down for money.
And I talk about it in my book, I talk about the adult abusers. They abuse your love and your trust to get money from you.
You were shocked.
So listen to the terms he's using. My point is, so prove to you that even not only from just the low paying guy to the high paying guy, the same black tax is applied. And he called it abuse, and rightfully so.
You got drafted. Most exciting time of your life.
Mimi said they didn't understand generational wealth back then. Some still don't. Well, the Africans don't understand it. That's why I'm doing this on the black tax here.
And your mama hit you with something that caused you to go. Say what? What happened?
When she told me it was so much going on, and I didn't really know how to really take it. So I was like, man, I just bought you this house, this brand new house. I took you from living in the hood to living good. I took you from nada to Prada. But the crazy thing about it is some guys gonna get drafted tonight and tomorrow, and their mama gonna ask them for $2 million.
So this guy, his mother, asked him for $1 million after he bought her a house, cars and nice things. You see the entitlement, people? Do you see the entitlement? This mother didn't need to go to a witch doctor. This is, in America. She don't know any witch doctor. She just used the black tax culture. So it's like you're just supposed to accept it. But let's continue.
Mama asked you for $1 million. She said, I raised you. She asked you for a straight $1 million.
For $1 million, just like that.
And you were just sitting there going, okay, is this real? Did you think it was like some cameras around that were pranking you or something?
Oh yeah, you see, grass natural. You're right. I'm glad you said that, because he said, Afridamus, listen to this, right? He knows about what I said. You guys thought I was just making it up. He said, Afridamus, did you know some African parents would even go to the witch doctor if you refuse the black tax? People, so just earlier, a few minutes ago, when I said she didn't use, a witch doctor, you guys thought I was just joking, right? Here's somebody confirming it, even though he's laughing, but it is true.
It was, at first I thought it was a joke. I didn't really I thought she was just kind of just saying things, but she kept saying it. So she said it over a 2-year period of time. Over a 2-year period of time. And so after a while, I was like, man, she's very serious about this. She's very serious about her $1 million.
So he's the one that goes there and catch the ball. So now he's making money. Now you see why many of these people, like as a kid, you enjoy sports. It was your hobby. This is what makes you happy. These guys go from that to it being their downfall, their sorrow. Imagine like your own mom taxing you, asking you for $1 million, and she's serious after buying her a house. That's crazy.
Again, I mean, I know lots of athletes, and I've read lots of stories, and I don't think the average person really and truly understands the pressure that's there. You trying to focus on football. You're trying to focus on playing the game, and you're dealing with all of this outside stuff, and it makes it difficult sometimes to even play.
Yeah, because it's a lot of elements between having friends, and you're dealing with financial molesters, you're dealing with brokers who's making you broker, It's a lot of stuff that's going on that we are not really experienced as far as like dealing with.
How close?
So, see, he's a perfect example, because here's a guy who is telling you, you know, the negatives of the black tax, how like guys are taken down, because he's a higher earning individual. So if I just talk about people who just have regular job, you'll be like, oh no, man, that's just normal. But here I'm talking about a guy. This guy is a millionaire. He's talking from high earning standpoint. And even with them earning that much, listen to how it's easy for this black tax thing to take a chunk out of them.
For you to lose it all?
When I was in Houston, my stop in Houston, I was injured a lot. I didn't like the way football was being played.
I'm a Texans fan, native of Houston, I remember.
Yeah, and so I was injured a lot. I didn't like the football, you know, the way they were coaching football, and then I got robbed. And around that time, around that 2005, 2006 year, that's when I realized, man, like I can really go broke. I can actually go broke, because I was probably about, I spent so much money. I probably had about $400,000 in my bank account, and I had about 3 or 4 houses. So I owed a lot of money on these houses. So if my loans defaulted, I would have owed money.
He's explaining to us how he came to the realization, how he became broke. Like he almost became broke. So like many people would say, oh man, if you got million, if I have this X amount of million, I wouldn't go broke. No, you don't know what you're talking about. Yeah, if you keep spending, you will go broke. This guy is not talking a few thousands here. Like he's talking real money. Real money.
So I would have been
Right.
broke. So how do you come into the NFL with no debt and then you accumulate all this debt? It's because you don't understand how to spend your money.
And let's also be honest, when you're in college, the NCAA does not allow for you to have financial advisors to be able to teach those things. I personally feel as if that this is an industry that takes advantage of these cats and they simply roll them through. And
BB said, he should have just gave his mommy love the money. Well, he did give her a house. He did say that part.
you're right. It's advisors, it's accountants, it's lawyers. It goes through in, out, in, out. How do you, this is the last question for me, how do you, though, get to the next guy coming in? Because the stories go on and on. We got a graphic, top bankrupt players, Deuce McAllister, $70 million, Terrell Owens, $80 million, got ripped off by financial advisors, Michael Vick, $130 million. The story, he's had to pay all these creditors back. He may not have much money, and he's on the downside of his career. But a lot of these cats, man, they don't even want to listen. They're like, I got it, I'm good. And it continues.
I think one of the biggest things is having a mentor, having someone who's been through these type of situations, having someone who has this type of money, somebody who you can lean on as far as giving you the right advice, and they're not in your pocket.
Do you also need a know person? That means that, because I know almost a financial advisor and major athletes.
So people think about this, right? How many people like him, especially amongst Africans, who's willing to have this conversation like this? This guy didn't just read some book. He's talking about his own life. His own life. So it's a lot to pick out of this. But he wrote this book because of what his experience was, to wake other people up, just like I'm doing here on this channel, to help you wake up. It's nothing against anyone. Hey, look, if you want to do better for yourself, that doesn't mean you hate other people or you have something against them. So I get it. A lot of these people, they are going to make you feel like you're a terrible human being for focusing on you, or you're selfish for focusing on you. What, you So it won't be selfish if I take my time and focus it on you. Why don't you focus that time on yourself? If we all do that, we all better ourselves. Maybe then the society would improve. It will change. You know, they have this saying, oh, monkey walk, baboon eat. The monkeys are going to do the work and the baboons are going to eat. The monkeys will never improve. They would remain working for the baboons, and the baboons will never improve. They will all be at the same level, survival level. So I'm trying to help you open your eyes to not just survival level, but a real standard. And that standard, you have to fight for it. Nobody's just gonna come and say, you know what? Oh, we are all, for instance, the people that are asking you these things, you think they're gonna all of a sudden just stop? Look, there's a thin line between helping somebody, and them abusing you. That's my whole point. I know some are gonna take the message and say, oh, Afridama said, don't help these people. Use your common sense. You know the difference between helping someone and not breaking yourself. You can help without breaking yourself. You know this. So I'm here to help you help yourself.
And they said, look, you need money, you gotta go ask her. So she's the no person. And she's put the whole family on payment plans. This is how much you getting per month. Now, she told them, y'all need to go get a job. But he is not gonna fund your whole life.
I think it should be reversed. You should focus on getting your principal money to work for you, and then you fund people off your interest money. So that's the difference between, we don't understand how to actually manage money. So you don't give out money. First get yourself together.
Right.
Then you can take care of your family if it's available in your budget.
Folks, the book is called New Money, Staying Rich by Philip Buchanan. Trust me, that some of y'all.
So this guy wrote a book on this. And if you look at it, one of the stories that he touched on, which an NFL player had to put a restraining order on his mother a few years back, a Dallas player, because she was harassing him. She wanted, I think, $2 million from him, and it was like a debt. So at that point, it just leaves a sour taste in your mouth. You don't want to deal with it anymore. See, let's see. Okay, I'm gonna open up the lines here real quick, and I want to hear your perspective. What you think about what you just heard here, not just from me, from the two videos I have presented. So if you believe that, what I'm saying is horse shit about, the black tax, this doesn't make sense, you are the devil, you're welcome to call. Or if you believe that this is improving Africa or black places, you can also call to talk about that. So, but we won't be here too long. I'm about to post that. And please, guys, let's keep it cordial. Let's make our points without insulting one another. Okay, let's go. So the link is out there. Hit that link. Let's have a conversation. Let me know what you think about what you've heard so far. Agree, disagree, indifferent, or you believe, God, this is what God wants you to do. So hit that link. Let's talk. But people, like I said in my description, this is not a thing that is only from Africa. Like I said, I notice wherever, black people are, in some sort, you would hear this in conversations. It is not as common just for ordinary person in America to go through what I just explained. But if they make it big, a lot of people are coming. They are going to make you feel like you owe them, just like you, the African. So let's see. Oh man, I've been here almost 2 hours. I didn't plan on, going past 2 hours. So I actually have another topic that I'm planning on bringing. I've been working on here, editing stuff. So I think I'm just gonna go do that, because I don't want to do more than 2 hours today. So, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you liked the video. If you're new here, make sure you like and subscribe. And if you're coming to watch it later, feel free to leave your point of view. And when you're leaving your comment, understand that this absolutely is not based about me, because some people like to get personal because when they don't like something, they think it's about you. No, it is a discussion. So let's stick with the topic. I use myself as examples in different areas so that you understand that I'm not just telling you a story I heard about. It's something I know about, in and out, pretty much firsthand experience. And I hope you've learned that BlackTax, not too many people like BlackTax. BlackTax is keeping Africa and other places poor. That's the truth. In fact, I would go as far as comparing it to enslaving someone. Because if you have to collect my sweat, tears, my hard work, if you feel obligated to it, guess what? I've become your slave. What do you think, when you go to work, what do you think you're doing? You're using your time and your energy when you could have been using that time to do other things. So the point is, use your time wisely. Okay? Make sure you benefit from it. And make sure you take care of you first. See, when you take care of you, you will be in a better position to help others. But if we are all in the ditch, I just jumped out of the ditch and you're telling me, you need to jump right back in. That wouldn't make sense. Let me go find the ladder that you can hold on to, which can help you escape too. But the BlackTax will not give you the opportunity to do that. And I hope, especially for some of you that are just coming up, younger guys, I hope you take this seriously. I understand there is element of, fun, entertainment to it, but also think about what I just said, what I'm presenting to you, and you would see exactly where I'm trying to get you to be. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm out. I hope you enjoy your weekend. I'll see you guys tomorrow.
Well, none of them can hide from the truth, yeah. Children have to go back to the roots, yeah. None of them can hide from the truth, yeah. Children have to go back to the roots. I'm telling you now, the truth, telling you, yeah, the truth. You have to go back to the roots, go to the roots. Yeah, man, this is Benjamin out of the Smiling Coast, West Africa, Gambia, representing for the one and only Abu, the big man you don't know, the Soninke warrior, the man that brings the truth, Soninke warrior, the sign of enlightenment, the Soninke warrior, the righteous and the true African.